It's FEB here.
Maybe.
Okay, it's 20 there. I see you,
I see
Tintin,
CJ.
you son of a bitch. CJ. Whatever. 9th BT's here, I think. I guess I'll CB. 9th core, is 9th core here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey.
George, what's your guys' numbers for tonight?
79th.
Hello.
He's here, yep. 83rd is here, yep. 18th US is here. 12th VA is not here. 11th MS is here. Hampton's Legion is here. PB's here. I am here. I don't see CQB, which is unfortunate.
Hold on, give me 1 second. Womp.
Are you leading tonight again, George?
It might be that way again, yes.
Interesting.
I wonder why my back hurts all the time.
Bending it over. Maybe you get it blown out a bit too much.
Hell yeah.
Damn.
It's true. I live in California. What do you expect? Not the taxes, it's the guys. Am I right?
Yeah.
Honey, could you get popcorn? This is gonna be wild.
Yeah, George, I am 20 to 25 tonight.
Lee.
All right, so here's what
I
we're
did
gonna
a
do.
little recruiting.
We're gonna roll now because I imagine that things are going to happen very fucking quickly. Because one fight is going to be refought as it is now, and this next second server might be a refight based on what we decide, and then we'll go into some shit about Conquest and try to hash all that dog shit out while we're all here and have time. I need either 20th or something in the union to tell me if they're going to stay and fight.
I'll stay at 5.
So you say I will tell you now what I think we should do.
Wait, could you explain the situation on the map real quick?
So right now, this is server do. And this server crash, so it's gonna be refought. We're gonna reroll the maps basically immediately
Wait.
right now, this second.
I gotta
So
ask though.
imagine- Huh?
Is this gonna be the first map, or will
This will be the first server now.
Okay, so are we having 2 matches still, or is it 3?
2. No, it'll still be 2. We're not gonna
Okay.
do 3. It's gonna restart this one
Aw.
because it's the big server crash. This is the one now. It was a draw, so each side has to tell us what they're gonna do separately, and if they both decide to stay, it'll be a fight again. If one side retreats, the other side takes the city, and if they both retreat, they both retreat.
20th will
Huh?
stay. Yeah.
Well, you weren't supposed to tell me that. but
It happened again.
It's
the second
okay.
time you've done it, it happened again.
I've kind of already assumed that we were also going to stay, unless anyone on the Confederate side does not want to do that. It's a little, yeah. Again, supposed to send me a message, so this situation can't happen. But fuck it. We'll
Well,
just go
shit,
with
it
it.
already did. So
Too late. We're staying. It's a fight again. So we're
that was
immediately
great.
we're gonna fight here. And look at that. That's there's coordination. Now, let me roll maps. I forget who was attacking who. I think CSAC was attacking USAB, if I remember correctly.
Yep, CSAA was attacking 20th.
Okay. Maps. You know what? You do it in a second. What time we got? Tons. All right. Is anybody? No, of course not. Fucking great. All right, gentlemen. We obviously have some ideas about Conquest. Does anybody have anything?
I mean, as the attacker should really be forced to actually like take our point, because like we as the defenders took the CSA point more often than the freaking CSA ever. Like the CSA never attacked the actual Union point. Like we, yeah. So we played for a draw because I mean we actually did try to play for the win at the last second, but like, you know, there ain't much point otherwise. So it's like you actually, you know, I mean I think you know if the CSA does not take the Union point, right? At all, you know, that's the fucking loss for the CSA. Like, they're the attackers, right? The attackers should be forced to actually take the defender's point.
I definitely. Well, hold up. I definitely agree with that 100%. But we've also said the same thing about you guys on Conquest in the past.
Yeah, but I mean, we actually did play for and took the CSA point that time, even though we were on.
I mean, sure, but only like
sending a 15-man regiment behind our flank.
Isn't that that is That is true. You
I mean, we set up
more
we set
than
up
more
40
than
man the second time.
2/3 of your team most of the game didn't move from their side of the map. That's so. Listen again.
and your entire team didn't move from your side of the map.
That's not true. That's not true at all.
You got nowhere near our point. You never took our point.
We didn't want to take your point.
Ladies.
Well,
Good.
You've
you're an
already
attacker,
argued
though.
about
That's a
this
good point.
already. Just
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
You're
think
right.
we don't need to rehash the
yeah,
3-day fucking discussion.
True.
shit
True.
fest.
So
Let's just both agree to follow the rules equally. You know,
Now-
if we're gonna make it something.
Well, the rule.
Yeah. And so here's the thing, right? On Conquest, each side has an equal opportunity to win. Right? We all agree. Same tickets.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not necessarily up to anybody to ensure they win the round. Now that's fine. I personally try to win the round if we can. If we can't, we try to kill people. But if we have strategies as a team that is to get draws, that's fine. But I'm confused as why we complain about draws. And I still haven't really gotten a very good answer for that.
Well, because it's generally boring gameplay.
What is?
On
Draws?
Conquest.
Getting draws, you mean?
On behalf
well,
of
I
a
mean,
private,
not
is someone in the line. Is it's boring. I personally don't think it's that bad.
I don't think so.
Honestly,
I
I
mean, neither
think
do
you guys
I.
just need to find someone in your group who's interesting. Find someone who fucking tells stories, sings songs, something like that. It's not that hard. You guys can't live 45 minutes with each other. Come the fuck on. You're in a regiment together.
Yeah,
I mean, we
I
could try
personally-
to make. Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. I personally, I don't find it boring. I find Conquest to be, I find it more interesting than Skirmish because of flexibility and open maps, and it's literally any side could win or lose depending on certain things. But that's my 2 cents. I haven't heard anything about Conquest being not fun for my unit personally outside of Rollins, which it's fine. Opinion is valid, but on that, specifically that last week, we were engaged almost the entire time with somebody, somewhere, all the time. We attacked, I think, IVB at least 4 times to the cornfield alone, and then 20th twice, and ran around to clear the point. I'm a little confused about that personally, but
Yeah, we had fun there. I think the biggest thing is that there's no incentive for the attackers to take it, and there's every incentive for the defender to play for the draw.
I have a question. Is winning not an incentive?
Well,
I would
when
say
the
so.
alternative,
I would say it is.
Inflict more casualties than the enemy. And
That can also be. Yeah, you could also do that. That could also. It depends on what you define as winning. I mean, but winning itself is not an incentive.
The defender doesn't have. I mean, yes and no. Yes, obviously you want to win, but to win in Conquest, you have to be willing to take risks. And
Yes.
the way it works in the campaign right now is that the defender has no risk if they play for a draw.
I don't
or
think
less
there's
risk.
enough
That's not true. They
penalty
could lose.
for the attacking side not taking the point or winning outright.
Yes,
Because,
that's
you
what
know,
I'm
the
getting at,
default
George.
is kind of that we draw, like the enemy side, the attacking side. Oh, they get to either stay there and fight again or fall
And
back.
yeah.
Like, that's it.
Yeah, I think what's happening, and this isn't necessarily right or wrong, is that what Conquest is turning into is sort of like an attrition thing, where you fight and you end up at a draw, and next week you both decide to stay, and then you fight for a draw. It really comes down to whose token's going to run out of fucking manpower first. There are a lot of cases in which, like last week, yeah, we were the attacker. We had superior high ground. So we decided we're going to stay on superior high ground just as you would in real life. We got the high ground. We got cannons on the hill. Yes, we were the attacker. And I agree with you. There is no incentive for us to be like, hey, let's come down off our superior topography to attack the other side. And we've seen that, time and time again. So it's really kind of hard though for us to be like, hey, you have to attack. We're going to say the match wasn't valid because the attacker didn't consistently throw themselves at the enemy. So it's like, how do you enforce something like that?
And also, I find that again, the prevailing strategy for the Union has been to be very defensive in most Conquest matches. And when I hear
I mean,
that, it's
you're
like, well,
saying that, except that we actually took your point. Like we
Yeah,
actually
but
played
that's-
more offensive than
that's
you as
1
the attacker,
week
which is a
instead
problem.
of the
what about
past
one? But so 1 week
4
you
other
took the point
conquests.
for 12 seconds, right? With a group of
Yeah.
15 that ran
It
past
was
the
longer
line.
than 12
Well,
seconds.
and we also took it for like 3 minutes right at the end, and you wiped that.
Yeah,
49
you're
game
right,
that
and
went
that was
by.
working. Why you do that more often? If you want, like,
It's because you guys. I mean, we had to do it last minute. First of all,
you
like,
could have done it
that's
anytime
the
you
point.
wanted.
Could have done it like
No,
the
because
entire
we
map.
again, you have to hold on to your point.
Yeah.
And it really only matters who holds the point at the end of the match. It doesn't really matter who holds it throughout the match, because
That's not true.
But
That's
the
not how
problem,
that
I
game
mean,
works.
that was a
bit.
big discussion we had of actually, that was your suggestion, wasn't it? Of
Let's just take it
changing the rule to having, if you control points, when the other team doesn't, it was a victory, even if it was tied. Wasn't that a discussion?
Yes.
Yeah,
That was
the
discussion. That's Pratley's idea, one of them, which I think is not hard to implement. But if again, so
So are we just
last week, omitted, right? Union a quarter of your team attacked fairly often, or at least once, and then the whole team attacked at the very end. Most of the time, Union doesn't do that. They hide, they hang out. Even if they're attacking, they hang out. And so what I'm hearing is,
Hold on, Hood. We did that every single time we played Conquest last season, and you told us to adapt our strategy, so we did.
you did. What did you do last? I'm sorry.
We kept hitting you hard on Conquest last season.
Well, one match specifically, 2 matches I think, where you guys were spawning at main and charging our spawn over and over again, which did not work. So when I said that, the idea in my mind was not for you to not attack ever. That's not. There's an in between. There's attacking like a maniac and attacking smartly.
Also, is the defender like expected to attack? I mean, we are defending.
It's
right?
conquest. You can do whatever you want. Like the terms don't matter. It's what-
You're literally like, oh, you should attack, but we're defending.
I'm not
You're
saying
the
you should.
attacker.
You gotta play the campaign, Tim. You gotta
I'm
play
not
the
saying
campaign.
you should attack. I'm telling you can. If you don't like draws, then attack, right?
And you're saying that, and you didn't attack as the CSA.
I don't have a
so you
problem with
enjoyed the bet.
draws. I don't.
Yeah.
Our
We're
plan was
having
to
a
kill
problem
more
with
of you
draws.
guys. Our
That's
plan was
kind
to
of the
kill more
problem.
of you guys, and we did do that. That was our plan. That's a victory for us. You guys are worried about draws. Don't let draws happen.
We don't give-
You have
we
the choice in
played
this.
for the
We
draw.
don't care
We
about
wanted
draws.
the draw. What do you mean?
I know. So why are we mad about the draw then?
I thought CSA was mad about the draw.
No, you guys are. All of Ninth Corps and CB
Holy
and
fuck.
yeah, no, you guys are the ones making the complaints. Read the
I
thing,
know they're
man.
bickering like little girls right now.
I want to go back to
No.
teaching my basic
Hold
training
on,
recruits
hold on,
right now.
hold on, real quick.
CB
So
had complaints at all.
here's the issue. Like, how is it do you force somebody to attack in Conquest? Like, what rule would we implement to say, okay, you've attacked on the game board, it's a Conquest role, now you must attack? At what point is it like,
I mean,
okay,
I think a simple rule is that the attacker has to have taken both points at some point in the match. Just at some point.
but that's
Is this
hard.
relative to Cord right now?
No,
That
We're
would be
Court
hard.
already done.
Court's
We're
done.
doing the meaning of conquest now.
Oh,
It
okay.
would be hard to implement that with the rule of not capping the center point.
No, just
Yeah.
like you have 2 points, right? You have the defense point and the attacker's point. They just have to, the attackers have to take the defender's point at some point in the match.
Or
But you
end the
see how
game
that- you
with
see how
more
that's
points
not-
than the other team.
You see how it's
Whoever-
not exactly balanced if tickets are even, and now now the attacking team has to come and attack me, and I can sit here on my spawn point. It's either they lose or we draw.
I mean, it just forces them to attack and take a point once. You don't have to hold the point. They don't have to just.
But
You
tickets
have
are
to-
even.
If
the
I can,
attacker should have
Sorry.
an inherent disadvantage. That's just the nature of attacking.
But you're equally allowed to attack in conquest. You can also win the
Yes.
game by attacking yourself.
But
if I can interject
there
here
should
real
be a
quick.
minimum incentive that the attacker is forced to at least take the defender's point once.
Why?
Hey, Hood, real
Because
quick.
they're the
That's just
fucking
some stupid
attacker.
Hey,
arbitrary
guys, real
thing.
quick. I think
What's
we're
up?
getting into some rabbit holes unless we're looking at actual proposals.
Mhm.
Like, if we're just gonna throw ideas out here right now, it's not well formed. We haven't looked at it. If we're gonna look and discuss it, then I say, well, let's look at what has been actually proposed from the people that have suggestions and let them make their pitch. Because if we're just gonna talk, I don't know if that's gonna get us anywhere. I don't think that's a
Agree.
useful part of our time. My own view.
I agree with the gentleman.
Well, Pratley's not here, unfortunately. He made a suggestion that I think was pretty good.
I did have a suggestion, but I was told that it wasn't exactly.
What was your suggestion
guess-
again? I don't remember.
The suggestion was a King of the Hill style fight where
I second that, by the way.
middle point is the only point that you can go for, so that way it's relatively even in terms of how far you have to travel to get there. And
But that
if you
just turns it
wanted
into
to-
skirmish, and because
right.
it
But if we,
negates the whole big map point
And
of
also,
conquest.
and also some maps that middle point is just more unbalanced than the
stupid,
other,
yeah.
depending on our
Every
territory.
map becomes Hooker's push.
And also, I also find that in Conquest, if you take the center point the first time, you're probably going to win from that point forward, because now the entire enemy team is dead. They got to run back to you, and the whole time taking morale damage, and you're entrenched again. That's my issue
Yep.
with only the center point idea. Is that whoever wins
Fair
the first fight's probably going to win the game, personally.
I have a proposal that would be a modification on what Prattley suggested.
Yeah.
So obviously, first, if the game says that you won, you won. If it
Mhm.
says it's draw, it should come down to whoever has the most points. If they both have the same amount of points at the end of the game, then it's a true draw, and then that still maintains the draw capability, while also giving at least an option of a last ditch attempt attack on one side or the other.
I like that idea, although I have the concern that it may be, if we implement that down the road, there might be a dispute where, like, oh, well, ours is like a pixel bigger morale state than yours. Like, how do we just end up
It's not going to go
resolving
by
that?
morale state. It has to go by capture.
it go
Or
by-
that
Well, it's not based on casualties at that point. If like for last week, since we decapped the enemy flag and held one flag and they held none as the game ended, then that would have been a Union victory.
The
under this
only
proposal.
problem with that, though, is that if you do it like that, you're gonna have even more defensive style, because people are just gonna play goalie over their
True.
point the whole time.
Yeah.
Because they're
Well,
like,
but
fuck it,
you-
if we
as-
lose it, we
As
lose.
Hood said, you can still attack and try and win on casualties on morale state.
Right, but what I'm
Yeah, but
saying is
everyone's
that
hiding in their spawn, camping their fucking flag directly now.
Yeah,
So
so like
what could
last
happen
week,
is-
we would have
ahead.
left like maybe a third of our force to literally do nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, but sit by our point. That way you couldn't have come around us and captured, if that's how it's going to be. And it's like, okay, it's the end of the map. They had a flag up. We didn't have a flag up, but it's a draw, but they win now. Then you're going to be like, okay, in order to prevent that, we're going to have a portion of our force play goalie the whole time.
And also, I think it might
I still
encourage
think the attacker
defensive
has to-
gameplay.
I mean, I still think, again, that the attacker being the attacker is that there has to be some mechanism for the attacker to be forced to actually attack. To
Right, but as
Why,
I said,
though? But there's no
hold on,
mechanism
hold on.
like
Do you
that.
have to have
How-
an attacker? Does there have to be an attacker?
How do you
I mean, yes,
implement
there's
that? though?
inherently. I mean, you just have them. So right,
Yeah,
you have
because
a
it's-
union.
we have an
point- you
attacker
have a
on the board.
defensive point, right? So if there's so say the union is at A and the CSA has the C point. At some point in the match, just once, they have to have decapped the A point. All right.
Jump.
That's,
Okay.
That's it. They don't even have to
You see how
decap the A
that's
point, they
how
just have
that's
to
one
decap.
side, how that's extremely one side to the defending team though, like more so than normal
It is
skirmish.
yes, it is biased towards the.
It's more
the
biased
defending
than
team, yeah.
skirmish.
Hold on. I think we're missing a giant solution here.
Mhm.
We just play contention. That easy.
real.
Contention has
Could be possible.
its own problems.
the
and listen, if we want to do that, we're fine. But I
Of
swear
course
to
it
God,
has its
I
own problems.
No,
promise you.
listen, this is
you
our
will get mad.
issue. We've
Throw
thought
fucking
about
Picket Patrol on there, dude.
yeah, great
Oh,
idea.
gross.
We thought
is.
about doing contention. The problem with that is that say we play contention and the point spawns every time on your side of the map or our side of the map, then you're going to be like, well, that's bullshit. We never really had a chance to contest because it constantly spawned on your side of the map, so you were able to capture it every time. It would
Which
be
is true.
different. It'd be different if contention was like one side spawned, then the other side spawned, then the middle spawn, something
Mm-hmm.
like that. But we've played that many a times where you lose because all of the points spawn on the enemy's side of the field, so they can get to them quicker, capture them, set up, and kill you as you come in.
And
This
that's
is
way
just
worse.
me
This
personally.
is one area
but,
where Hood and I
um,
are in complete agreement on.
I agree.
that's just kind of a skill issue.
No, it isn't a skill
No, it's
issue
not.
because I listen. I
Yeah.
know you guys play a lot of pubs, and I've heard a lot of people say that this works in pubs. But every time this has happened in an organized environment, and I've done this at least 12 times, and at about 3
Well,
times this has happened. I've been
even
on
in
both sides. It
pubs,
might happen to me,
I've
happen
seen
to
it
time.
be
The team
completely
that had this happen to
one-sided.
them lose every time, without fail. If you have a
I
team
mean,
that's
we wouldn't
organized,
get any draws
it's impossible.
anymore.
Huh?
That's what everybody's upset about. We wouldn't get draws anymore.
Right, but the point is this: say
Yeah,
if
but
it's
the
like a
you don't wanna
situation,
lose for no
yeah,
reason.
say you're gonna lose a piece. Say it's like you're surrounded and you play, and all the points spawned on the enemy side of the field. You're gonna be like, that's kind of bullshit. Now we just lost our piece with 3,000 guys on it, and it was because we never really had a chance because all of the points spawned on the enemy side of the field.
Which is
So
way
we had
worse than a
no
draw.
way of getting there and capturing them first.
True.
At least with what we have on Conquest right now, it would eliminate the the flags are on their side every single time.
I mean, I
kind of-
agree. I'm
Conquest
just
is balanced.
stating.
I you know what I mean? I don't have a problem with draws. The
And
people
that's
that
why
do
we
have a problem with
can-
draws.
Yeah.
It's funny because
don't
that
attack.
balanced like state is the exact reason why everyone's
It's drawing.
just goes naturally to a draw. You know, like there's no one side doesn't have a clear really advantage over the other, so naturally the game's gonna gravitate towards an ending where it's
Some of it's the
tied.
game mechanics, though, because
guys-
the game mechanics go totally based off of morale state. It doesn't matter who has how many caps.
So, guys, again, I would like to tell you this, and that we have math on this. The CSA kills more people and takes more of the map every single time. The prevailing Union strategy is to sit very close to their spawn and wait, which gives the attacking team two options. Lose by charging those guys out near their spawn over and over again until you're out of morale, or get a draw and kill more people. If both sides were trying to win, there probably would be a winner and a loser. But consistently, Union does not do this. This is not a Union bad. This is a strategy choice. You guys say you play for draws. Last week, you guys said you guys played for a draw, and you got a draw. And then I got complaints about how Conquest keeps hitting in draws. I don't
wanna
understand
win
it.
the
I,
draw,
just-
I'm gonna be
I have
honest.
Yeah.
I have an idea, and people tell me why. Like, tell me what's bad about it. But what if we start did Conquest, but we capped both sides like regular, and then the fight is that the defenders have to stop the attackers from capturing the point. They don't have to capture it themselves. They just have to stop the attackers from capturing the middle point at any point during the round. And if the defenders have the point uncontested by the time that the round ends, then the defenders win.
I have
many
an
more
listen. I
rules
have an
do we need to
alternative
add?
idea. What if the fucking Union attacks and does anything at all? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like. This is so complicated, but it's just you guys are playing for the thing that you don't like.
You're
You
saying
just
we don't
understand.
attack, and we fucking attacked Hood. That's the problem.
You
Well-
attacked in the last 3 minutes. That's
We
what you
also,
told me.
Yes,
no
because that's
incentive.
It's
how
not
you
going to
win.
change anything.
I mean,
Of course, it's not
hold
going
on.
to change anything.
That's actually how you win. If you hold 2 points at the end when you're on the same morale set, you fucking. That's how Conquest works. That's
What
just
if
how
you
the
would-
stupid game mode
What
works.
if you had attacked like that
We would
earlier
have
and
taken more
often?
catches. You got a fucking high ground.
But your morale,
had a
you
better
would have
defensive
hold.
position.
But our
hold on.
morale state would have been down, and you probably would have
Hold
won the
on.
match.
No, because our morale state
No.
would have also been down because you had a
No,
better
because
defensive position on
You would
that
have
hill.
taken losses,
It's
sure,
like that.
but you
It's
would
like-
have had
some
our
of those
flags
maps are
down.
biased
Let's-
towards one
let's-
side. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
gentlemen, we're
I don't
talking.
know
Let's
what you're doing.
disconnect this from what happened last week because it's been it's a recurring thing. Hood, what the last argument that you said about Union needs to attack was the exact same argument that I used against CSA last season when you guys sat and let us monkey charge against you.
We didn't let you. You didn't stop charging. We were coming out of spawn and getting hit by another wave over and over again, which
That
is
is true.
bad for you.
But I mean,
But
you had
there's an
time to
in-between.
come because we always grouped up.
You did group up, and then you charged like maniacs at an entire blob of dudes coming out of spawn.
I want to
That's
be
like
100%.
so you can attack in a way that's not insane and still win, and we've done it before. We've won Conquest matches. Like you just don't have to. It's not. Don't move from my spawn and charge over and over again to the enemy spawn. Just set conditions that's gonna be favorable to you. You don't have to. You know what I mean? Like I don't understand. Like gaggle fuck charging across the map over and over again is not what I would consider a competent attack strategy.
I still think it would help to have some sort of strategic incentive. For instance, like, if the attacker does win, then they took the field, they get enemy resources that were left behind, plus 200 resources on the
They
campaign.
get that.
Something like
That happens.
And
That
That
what you
already does
described is
happen?
literally in the rules right now.
Oh, okay.
I-
well,
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to be completely honest. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, contention's unfair, but honestly, I'd rather play that. At least that makes me fight rather than,
But you can decide
Limp
to
up.
fight. You're in charge. Like it's your unit. You guys are the guys
Right.
not fighting us. That's
Yeah,
what I'm confused about.
What's the issue here? Let's bring in contention.
How fucking long
What?
are we gonna go down a rabbit hole saying the same shit?
Fuck no.
Because
I don't
FGOT
want to add
because-
more rules.
Listen, Guys, I don't have a problem with this, but the problem is I get complaints every time we play contention from one side about contention not being balanced, and every time I bring it up, no one wants to talk about it.
That's suck it up, dude.
Honey, get the
People lose.
popcorn. This is good.
Like, I don't know what you guys want from me. You guys make complaints to us. We talk about the complaints. We say, okay, we're gonna have a meeting about it. We have a meeting, and everyone's frustrated about fucking talking about it. I don't understand.
Because HTC just fucking bickers, dude. Like all of y'all just you argue with each other incessantly. No wonder no shit gets fixed.
The only thing we ever argue about is contention.
How else are we supposed to
Or,
fix
sorry,
anything if we're not
conquest.
gonna
And also,
talk
yeah,
about
what
it?
you want? You want me to decide what's gonna happen without any? I can do that.
No, I'm just saying there's a very bad attitude about how y'all talking about things
I
from what
don't
I can
think anyone
see.
has a bad attitude about anything, my friend.
I think
everyone's
I
just
think
angry.
there's emotion around it, so people think it's a bad attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
I
everyone
some
wants
people can't
whatever they
handle it.
want, and they're willing to, you know,
People are displaying
really show some
passion for
emotion
their
on it.
feelings about the issue because I mean it is a hot topic issue. It's the
just
thing that we've always kind of struggled with for HGC is this whole issue with conquest and contention, for that matter.
Yeah, but that's the thing. We
Alright.
shouldn't be sitting here like insulting one another. We're just trying
Oh,
to
yeah,
find a
insulting
conclusion.
No,
I don't think anybody insulted anybody, as far as I'm aware. It's just-
Monkey charging.
So there was
Yeah, but
another.
that-
I
but that
mean,
is what the-
I'm
how is that really
tiptoeing on
insulting?
insulting.
Is
I'm
Bradley in here?
tiptoeing on there, but
Bradley's not in here,
it's
unfortunately.
because I'm frustrated with people just complaining about losing. It happens.
So here's another question: who wants to just get rid of conquest altogether and just play skirmish maps?
that
I
would
don't know,
be
no.
not a solution.
I'm down.
I'm
but I
not.
don't
Okay,
speak for Ryan,
okay, no,
so
that's
yeah,
fine. That's fine. We don't have to do that. I'm just saying that is one of the options.
That is true.
Right.
It is an option.
Yeah, I
It
mean, if we
is-
can't agree on what is going to happen here, like if draws are okay or not, I mean, the only option, contention, I promise you guys, is not, no one's going to like that when it happens to them. They talk about it now, and think
I'd
about,
rather-
we're arguing about an extremely objectively, mathematically fair game mode, resulting in equal outcomes, and we're losing our minds about it, and you want to put a game mode that's going to actively, constantly give wins, not constantly, but randomly give just free wins to whatever team happens to get the fucking flags in their map, and that's not going to cause tons of issues. You don't think? I think it's going to be absolutely way worse than, than Conquest will be.
Fairness is, I think, a part of the issue. 'Cause we're freaking out about it and making sure everybody's feelings are catered to. But sometimes it's just like people need to understand that they can't win every game. It happens.
Yeah, but everyone
I
has a
agree.
chance to
That's
win
not,
every
that's
game,
not
right?
the problem.
Right,
That's-
but you have a chance of winning on contention.
as
Conquest.
CJ
It's
said,
not within
and
your
Conquest.
control.
Yeah, I know. In Conquest, it's in both
Even if
teams
you lose
control
the
if they
first
win or
point.
lose. In contention, it can
Well, yeah.
definitely be. It
Yeah,
absolutely can just be
contention is a
Right,
random.
joke.
in
the problem.
Conquest, there is no incentive for the piece that initiates the attack on the campaign board to attack. Yes,
Exactly.
the game mode
Besides
may be
winning-
balanced in War of Rights, but
Besides
we've got
winning,
the
which I think would
campaign
be
to
nice,
think
right?
about.
By the
So
very
yeah, okay. So if you
nature-
attack someone on the board in the campaign, right? You probably want to take that ground from somebody, which would translate into wanting to win in the game, right? That's my incentive. My incentive is I would like to win, so I could take
Yeah.
place on the board. That's I
I
don't know why
agree.
we need
Whoever
more than
was
that.
asking
That's
about
crazy.
That's
Bradley
why
is here
we
now.
need
All right,
we need
Bradley.
a certain
Hold on.
amount of unfairness, is to force a win either way. Because I think these draws are just causing issues. We're making
But
rules.
why?
that-
But why do we have a
I-
problem with draws?
To be honest, I don't ask me. I'm not the one complaining, but
I know, but like, what is the problem inherently with draws?
that's not for me to.
Can anyone tell me?
Anybody that has an issue.
Yeah, I
that has
mean,
a-
is it the draw or is it that it's just not as engaging and exciting
yeah,
as a skirmish?
I
map?
think
The
that's
main issue
mostly
I've
it.
heard is people not complaining that, oh, we got a draw. It's, oh, our guys did nothing, so we could get a draw. That
This-
seems to be the
I
prevailing
would agree.
argument.
I would say the problem with that is the mentality of the units. I would say
But
don't do that. You
Unfortunately,
don't have to do that.
a big way to
Well, it's
fix
draw
that
or
is
throw.
to decide, okay, well, we
No.
are going to push the point. Yeah, there's a chance that you might take way more losses doing it. That's the nature of being an attacker typically. But the
True.
reward of taking a point and then owning the battlefield could force the defenders into a really, really fucked situation. So it's
I agree. And also, in Conquest, you can win by killing more of the enemy. It's about morale state. If you keep consistently outgunning or outcharging the enemy, you don't even have to capture a point.
Yeah,
Cons-
but is
like,
it
you know
always
what I mean?
like that?
It is always like that.
It's just really hard to get a very big ticket lead on Conquest because of how far away.
I
it is.
agree.
Granted, it
Especially
is
when both
possible.
teams are playing smart. It's hard.
But that's the difference. I mean, do we want more skirmish maps or not? The whole point of Conquest is supposed to be different. Skirmish is formulaic. We all know how most maps are going to go unless something exceptional happens.
There's a third
Conquest is
option,
dead
but,
even. Huh?
You know, I'm saying there's a third option. It's just people just don't like it.
Contention is not. You can't. I mean, listen, my man. It has to be at least fair. And it's sometimes it's not
That's the
fair.
issue.
I gotta
But,
say,
like,
I-
so just real
contention
quick,
is-
I'm on my phone, so if my mic sucks, that's why.
No, you're fine.
The issue is though, like, I would also argue there's skirmish maps that are as unfair or more unfair. Like, you know, obviously the update has changed it a little bit, but like, you know, what if you draw like River Crossing when you're on a really important attack, or Garland Stand when you're on a really important attack, where you know you're going to lose ridiculous casualties and you're probably not going to win.
You guys won River Crossing.
We did win.
Yes,
You
yeah,
constructed
that's
River Crossing.
that's what I'm saying. Like the
It can
update
be
has
unfair and you
changed
can
it,
win.
obviously, but there are inherent.
It's countercharge, for instance.
Yeah, but there are maps that are hard to win, and there's a lot of maps in contention that just you cannot win. It's almost impossible to win if the enemy team is not absolutely foolhardy in the things they do. If you get the first flag, and it's on your side of the map next to your spawn, you would have to be an act of God to lose, because anytime they charge you and take the point from you, you spawn right next to them, and they spawn 800 miles away.
That's not
You-
true.
You are
It is
asking.
what? That's exactly that is very
listen,
true.
That is
Hood,
true.
Hood,
Hold
Hood,
on.
If
Hmm?
I've stayed quiet this entire time because
You're fine.
this is absurd to me. Well, I mean, I understand.
We're getting it out now.
Yeah, I can tell, and usually it's me the one getting it out, but I've tried to stay calm and away from it. Anyway, with contention, if the first point spawns right next to the enemy spawn, they cap that point, and then you don't engage them on that point, and you spread out your line ready to cap the next point, then you cap that point, and they attack you. You at least get, if you can hold on to it and have a successful defense, the tickets will be even moving on to the third point.
But
Exactly.
what if the
I've
next
done
point
it.
is the next closest point to them?
And then
which
the
is the
point after
problem.
that is the next. Is
The
next
point after
closest
that doesn't
point to
matter
you.
because now you're
It-
breaking
It's strategic placement
already.
Yeah,
and-
to be fair, I do understand the difficulty having contention in a campaign setting where people are going to complain about fairness or this, that, or the other. But then again, like if we were to draw River Crossing as CSA, and campaign-wise, it would make sense to not attack on River Crossing, with our entirety of our force. Then it just provides 45 minutes of horrible gameplay of shooting 300-yard
Right.
volleys from across a bridge. But we decided to attack, and we actually won probably the most difficult map to win, or one of the most difficult maps to win is CSA, for the sake of good gameplay.
and it was fun.
It was
Yeah,
fun. I did
I
enjoy
agree.
it. It was utterly chaotic and cancer,
Right.
but it was fun.
Yeah.
And I
Or,
think our
right?
boys enjoyed it to some extent. But if the difficulty is trying to come up with a way to make an incentive or to incentivize a group to attack on a conquest map that is 2,000 yards across, or probably even more than that, then let's just not play conquest or contention. Let's just go back to playing skirmish.
I feel like
Because
the
there's no dispute
problem.
with the skirmishes, except for my dispute that I have that we play too much Harper's Ferry, but that's
Yeah.
not gameplay wise. That's more.
I mean, that's another topic. We did lower the
Yeah.
percentage
lower-
of
Which is
coverage.
good.
We should lower it again, in my opinion. But that I'm
I
not
think
trying to
that's
start.
excessive.
I'm not trying to start that conversation right now. I think
Right.
that if we have too many people vocalizing ardent opposition to the way that Conquest is played now, and there is no clear and concise way to make the rule that both sides could agree would make sense, then we should just not play Conquest.
Until we get a reasonable.
I
answer.
don't
There's no
agree.
laws that
I
come to.
think that
Just
conquest should be a thing. I think the problem that everyone is complaining about unfairness with contention isn't because it's unfair, because skirmish maps are inherently unfair because they are historic. They had certain advantages and disadvantages. Everyone knows that. We all know that. Harper's Ferry, it's damn near rigged. Like there's a clear bias. It's unfair. Everyone knows that. The problem isn't that it's unfair. The problem is that when it's contention, it's RNG.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you have no idea. There's no way to predict
Yeah,
as
absolutely.
to how it's unfair. So just make a form of conquest where you know what the unfairness is, and then you won't have as many complaints.
I
Then, well, then
if
let's play
I
skirmish
could
then.
step in quickly.
For an unfairness,
ahead,
you could have the
Bradley.
defender have 2 points at the beginning, and so that means the attacker, effectively has to decap that middle point, and then it just becomes, as the existing conquest, right? Just one.
The
and
issue with that, though, man, is that the ticket bleed is like absurd.
Yeah,
Fine.
it is.
When
one.
one side has
it's crazy.
So here's
Yes.
here's what I'm saying. If you have 2 points and like the other side's attacking, they really have like 2 attacks before the game's over.
Yeah.
Like before their morale is so shot, it's done. And is that really fun to be like, okay, guys, we went in on the first one, it didn't work. We literally have 1 more attack left. You know what I mean? Like
True.
it's not really strategic or engaging strategy wise, like to be like, okay, like we have 2 shots at this and that's that. Whereas even in a skirmish map, like, even if you are playing on a map like Maryland Heights where your tickets are relatively even, but one side might get the high ground, you typically have the opportunity to attack more than 2 times before your morale shot.
So
I think Paradox put out there is a council command we might be able to experiment, but do that mid-season without really
not
knowing,
great.
I think it's not a. That might be good for next season to take a look at that and maybe change it up for that. I don't know.
We've also run into issues in the past where if servers get changed like that and we forget to change them back, then the next week we start, there's like fuckery going on.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
And I mean,
Can I just, if I don't know if we talked about this at all already, but is there an opposition to making it so that if you hold more points than the enemy, you also win, regardless of like the, taking away the morale state thing? Like obviously, if you're both holding 1 point or you're both holding no points at the end of the game, whoever has the higher morale wins, or it's a draw if they're the same. But if one team has 2 points or if one team has 1 and the other team has no points, I feel like that team should also win, and that just creates, I feel like, a second option of winning. Because I think the thing is right now, yes, you can win on tickets, obviously, but it's really hard, and there's very rarely going to be a time where a team actually really tries to take the enemy point and hold it because, by definition, it's going to be close to their spawn. At least that gives another way to win it.
Well, you don't have to hold the enemy point. Just taking the flag down as you were winning at that point.
I think the opposition comes. Sorry, Womp. I think the opposition comes from if we do say, okay, well, if you end the game with, listen, I mean, we've not had a.
You got your ass stomped and you still lost by 2.
Well, I mean, if you want to do it like whoever holds the most flags at the end of the game, then it's going to be defensive the entire time, except for the last 5 minutes.
2 minutes, yeah.
But
exactly.
but I would argue that most of the conquest games that we play are already like that, and that's why people are complaining.
I have a question. I have a question.
So it's not a solution.
Yeah, exactly.
It is though, because it gives you an option to then, if you're not exactly down a morale state, it gives you a chance to go win the game.
Yeah, but
feel like
we
all it
took
does
last week.
The
all
thing
it
is
seems
this,
to
man.
do is encourage your style of gameplay as a unit, which is to wait until the last 3 seconds to do anything.
I have a question.
Large as a team. That's what I've noticed.
Would we say that for the most part the middle point is biased towards one side, or
It's whoever wins it first is going to probably win the game, almost guaranteed.
So what it this is just an idea. Again, I'm just trying to spitball ideas right now because I enjoy Conquest, but I wish there was a way to make it more decisive. What if the middle point became viable to take once a certain time hits on the clock?
Because then people would just camp around it until
Well, it would force both teams to camp around it and actually engage each other.
What's the difference between just turning the point around from the beginning then?
The other variation of sort of the same idea of mine was that if you're holding both points, then you're allowed to go cap the middle point.
So the argument
is attacking throughout the game.
The argument
a massive advantage.
The argument to make it on the clock instead of right off the bat is because if it comes to a point where it is way more biased towards one team, it at least gives the other team a fighting chance to be nearby the point when it's allowed to be capped.
But it doesn't defeat the purpose that whoever's going to win that fight's probably going to win the game.
It's kind of the
It
same
just delays
situation,
that decision until later.
The best solution that I have heard is to make the middle point playable for the entire game, and I think that's a bad solution. I don't think that's a solution.
That's just vanilla Conquest,
and and no one here likes that. I know that for sure.
But that is the best solution, or that's the best idea that I have heard so far. Next to just either keep Conquest the way it is right now, or remove Conquest if people cannot agree on it. Which we
or we
cannot
could
agree
just
on it.
again just be more aggressive. Like, I don't understand what the problem is here. Either you
There's no
guys, you have
incentive to
again,
do
you have
that,
an
Hood.
equal chance to win, defending or not, which is inherent advantage to defenders. I would say, right? If you're attacking on a conquest map, now the tickets are equal and the map's equal, and we can now we could win, as opposed to getting fucking
Would it
some
be?
horrible ass map.
It's
I
an
know
advantage to
Kilroy had
defenders.
some ideas on this.
Some
Would it be
conquest
helpful to
maps are
have
actually just bad for the
additional?
defender, though. Sure.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
I'm just saying, not all conquest maps are fair. Like there was the Bolivar Heights
Friends
map.
Lines is probably the most biased to CSA side.
Well, I mean, the Bolivar Heights map is incredibly biased to CSA side. We had that. Like that was
The
the
Maryland
previous
Heights one?
conquest map. No, Bolivar Heights.
And
where it's-
also
Bolivar Heights.
Wheatfields is
where
very
the
biased.
where the CSA effectively, it's effectively the camp map. CSA gets effectively redoubts. I mean, the CSA
Wait,
has
the one with
literally a
but the redoubts, it's equal distance from either side, from Union or Confederate. Seaside?
Yeah, but the CSA
Any side could get there.
No, because the CSA controls that's their point is in the redoubts,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So it is
that's the point.
inherently biased because the CSA gets a defensive position, whereas the Union doesn't.
With already all around it.
Yeah, but
I mean, there's already all around.
Oh,
you've already all around the Union side too, though. I don't understand that.
I mean, effectively, the Union on that map has just can't really attack because you're attacking.
You can
over an open
attack.
field
You
against-
definitely can attack. I've done it before. You can attack from basically your spawn, covered almost the entire way up to the top of the redoubt, and then you can take the outside of the redoubt, and now you have cover from everybody inside the redoubt.
I will
It's
just
very,
say
it's very
real
easy to
fast,
do.
Real fast.
So-
it is currently 7:16. We have
Yeah.
got nowhere. With
All we
this
have to do is
argument.
roll maps. We're
we have to
done.
do is roll map and come up with the strats.
I say another
this argument
5 minutes.
is going nowhere. There's nothing's
think-
going to change if we continue arguing.
Let's
about
just do
it for a
skirmish.
minute.
I think we should. I
Christ's
think
sake.
we should keep it up in following weeks, but put a cap on it to like 7:30 or 7 o'clock or so. And just keep suggesting ideas. This is something that definitely should be worked out. We just don't have a clear answer yet. I'm sure one will come along if we continue the discourse.
I feel like we've been talking about it for a week, and everyone's just holding the exact same thing that they were saying.
Yeah, well, because listen, guys.
I understand where they're coming from.
There's there's not really arguments being made. There's just assertions. Conquest is boring. Why? Oh, because we fucking hang out behind our point because we don't want to lose in a game that's equal. Okay, don't do that. And then no one answers that question, and then we do something else. Like, we just don't do that.
I mean,
and this is again most of the complaints come from Union. Just don't do that. You guys don't have to do that.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
Hood. I understand both sides of this argument. I understand why the Union from last week would desire to have a more decisive gameplay on Conquest, but I also understand that there is really no way that is balanced and makes logical sense on the campaign board for us to for the Union to start out with 2 points on Conquest. The CSA would rack up, or the defender, the attacker would rack up 3,000 casualties before the end of it.
True.
It would, and the game would be over within 2 charges.
I agree.
That one doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
The idea to play contention doesn't make sense on a campaign board. Because as you said, it is RNG, and if you're defending, but yet on the map, and yet on the in War of Rights, all the points spawn at the enemy side, then you're kind of like, well, we weren't defending, we were attacking. Like, we had no chance of defending this. So contention doesn't make sense. The idea about 2 teams or like whoever holds the most, if you hold the most points at the end of the game, that one somewhat makes more sense to me, but it still doesn't fix the problem of sitting around for 40 minutes and then attacking in the last 5. And so whereas I do see the Union is making very logical points, because I've said this before in Steam Chat. I said in Steam Chat, this is the problem with Conquest. There is no incentive for us to attack, really. There's no incentive for them to attack because they're defending. So it provides generally weaker gameplay. But I understand. I do like Conquest, and I do like contention for the purpose of we've played the same 34 maps for the past 3 years.
I agree.
They give us big open maps. Let's use them, right? But if we cannot come to if the Union is unwilling to continue playing Conquest the way it is right now, and if we are unwilling to agree to a change that I don't think is, makes sense, then we should just remove it entirely.
I mean, that would have been my conclusion as well. There's no logical, like, the arguments.
Just like Hood, real quick, just if I could also argue, like, I think part of this stems from the size of the maps, in that when, like, I agree not all 3 points should be active because regular Conquest is really rough. But like the thing is, when there's 2 points in play like there are right now, and like we all agree attacking the enemy's point is a really fucking hard thing to do and is probably going to lose you a ridiculous amount of casualties for not a whole lot of gain. Like, inevitably on a map of this size, what is likely going to happen is both sides are going to find their best positions where they feel like they can do damage and not take a ton of casualties, and then fight it out from those locations, which is, I feel like, what we normally see. Like, one side finds a fence line or a wall, one side finds a hilltop, and then they shoot out from those positions with an occasional charge, but nothing that's going to be ultra decisive.
But at least
Hold up. I just
go ahead.
With an idea. Hold up. Sorry.
Can I comment on that real quick? Because I agree with Pratley. I think that's 100% true. But at least in doing that, there is some strategy. You're scanning the field. You're looking at topography. You're trying to find the best decision. At least there is some strategy.
Yes, there is strategy. I'm not disagreeing with that. All I'm saying is that for the regular guy, like for guys who aren't leading the regiments,
they don't do shit.
Right. I get that.
My guys don't have a problem with it. I mean, the only way I could say would be, like, you could be more active with your line. You can do that. My guys don't have a problem with that. I'm active all the time in any Conquest map. I'm always finding some place to attack. And again, this is borne out by every Conquest match we play. The CSA kills more guys and takes more of the map, even if they're defending on paper, because there's no real attack or defender on Conquest. It's equal. Any side can win whenever they want.
I mean,
you have to try to do that.
But I mean,
here is an idea.
Not really necessarily the case.
It is though. We have the math to prove it. We have the data.
There have been multiple maps where you've held back, and we've had been more forward than you. Like
the last map you got, the map,
which was the Bolivar Heights camp. You guys were just hiding near your point, near your artillery. The last map,
that's not
true. Hill is your artillery, so it's on your side. So you were in your half of the map.
The thing you said about the Boulevard's camp was not true, because I have video evidence to record that we attacked or tried to attack artillery. Your artillery on the right side, my unit specifically, like twice. Half the game
we Hood advanced on your left flank
with
on that map.
Another unit.
Yes.
And pressed a unit and killed guys. Like,
and
we did it yesterday.
That was part of our plan, was to press your left flank, and we did do that. Now you guys did counter that as well.
I just posted where the Union was last week in campaign discussion from both angles.
What about this idea?
What is this?
What about we fight over A point?
That's the starting position.
Yeah, we posted the actual battle report, like, into the game thing, where most people died, and the Union is very clearly on their side of the cornfield, 2/3 of their team, and 90% of their casualties.
If the issue is as Pratley rightly said, that A point and C point are thousands of yards apart, and so making an attack would take inherently very long and strung out, and you lose men. Why don't we make it so that the attackers get A point? Oh no, sorry. The defenders get the point closest to their spawn and cap it. The attackers get the middle point and cap it. So it's a little bit longer for the attackers to get to the middle point, but it solves the issue of adding the middle point as an option where you just don't have the. It's hard for me to kind of explain, but
no, I get what you're saying. But the problem is, if the attackers do leave that middle point and attack the enemy's main point and they lose, now the defending team can just take the middle point, and now it's a nightmare for the attacking team again.
You could just have it not be that they can take that point.
We could just attack more you could just be more aggressive as a fucking team. Like, I don't understand why this is so fucking hard. Just you guys just choose to be more aggressive, and this is flabbergasting.
Yes, they should be aggressive as the attackers. Yes.
Are the defenders? There's no you guys. The term defender and attacker means nothing in Conquest in reality. Do you want to win the game? Yes or no? Then try to take the fucking point or kill more guys. That's
it. The thing. It should, like, being an attacker should mean something.
Yeah, guys. Let's just start recording.
Let's just finish it.
No,
Please.
I will say,
their
hey,
position.
I know people didn't like this. If you have ideas, and I think I heard a lot of good ones, if you can formalize them and put them like
And
specifically in the discussions, even if we don't solve it here, and we can at least start experimenting and figuring out on off weeks how we're going to work this. I actually think that BC point might change the map ups a lot. That could be interesting. I don't know if that would work or not, but
So the idea of the A point and B point
B
being
point in
one
the middle.
yeah, at least ideas so we can get them down, and then we can start. Yeah,
And I
start
also
experimenting.
personally, I don't hate Bradley's idea of taking the 2 points or to having more points than hidden matters, but I think it will again inherently encourage what is already happening.
Or we could have the
At least when you
defenders. The defenders only need to hold on to their point. Like the defenders cannot cap the B point, but the attackers to win have to capture the defender's point close to the defender's spawn. It gives both sides, their own special way of winning. Either the defender forms a really good defensive position around A, and the attacker can attack it without suffering 3,000 casualties because they have their own 1 point relatively close by to the point that they're attacking.
So you're basically saying
this
come
happened
up
the
with
last
a way
time.
for the conquest mode to be like attacker-defender type of situation.
Like skirmish.
Well, so
but
here's the
with
thing.
some-
I don't
forward
hate
out of the
that. Okay, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I need to make my event announcement soon. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Stand
same
by.
Ryan
here.
Hawkins is joining us today. Let's go.
Let's roll.
Okay,
for that.
we'll table this for now and maybe work on it throughout the week and next week. But for now, we'll continue as normal. We're rolling the maps
Yeah, roll the maps.
for this guy.
Rolling.
Yeah.
Sorry, correct me if I'm wrong. One battle is being refought because
Yes.
crashed last week.
Crashed servers
then
and everyone
the
having that
other
flickering
one
issue.
is basically the same battle that was last week, but continued.
Continued because we both decided to stay, so it's gonna
And
be rolled
and
again.
on a new map.
Okay.
And on new maps as well. So we're rolling
Everything's
everything.
re-rolling. Okay, all right.
Server 1 is now this guy, USC attacking, USC PB supporting. We're doing the map balance. It will be Harper's Ferry. It's on a city.
Right.
How many maps? 10?
10
For
maps.
skirmish, yes.
Map number 8.
Harper's Graveyard. Oh my god.
Same
Oh,
No fucking way.
You have to
No
re-roll it.
way.
Yeah, no, we're not allowed to do that. We played it last
Yeah.
week. I
That's a
assume
point.
that would still stand, right?
I would say
Yeah,
so.
it would.
We're all in the greens, I think so. That's crazy.
Love the cannon. Love the
Map number 1.
Maryland
Heights.
Maryland Heights.
We're
Hey,
attacking
that's-
Maryland Heights.
Yeah, we're
CSA is attacking Maryland Heights.
Well, no,
Well,
I thought
counterattack.
it's a counterattack.
Oh, do you have a
counterattack
counterattack
card.
card? You do, yes.
And can we
yeah,
not?
technically
Can we
counterattack.
not do Dawn stuff because that was?
I think
Yes.
that was part of the thing that fucked it last week as well.
So why don't we just say
It definitely was.
the two weather cards just cancel each other out?
We don't like night and dawn or dusk.
Well, since they're they're different.
It's not that we don't like it; it's
times,
that our games don't like it.
Yeah.
Let's just say if you get two different time cards, it cancels for this specific instance, and then we'll
Yeah.
redo the cards
I
later
say
to not
that's
be
fine.
confusing.
Yeah, just cancel.
So let's just do it during the day so it can save everyone's PCs.
That's fine. That seems fine to me. You think the nighttime would make things better?
So sides will be swapped on first map.
It
Correct.
wasn't even PCs because like I got like a super high end PC and like even I was getting screen tear.
Yeah, that update
That's-
was
Sounds like
rough.
there's something wrong here.
I had no issues until. it
How great? Do you
crashed.
have like a cicada like living in your mic or something?
I wonder what I sound like because my microphone has been doing. I'm gonna
Been
restart
buzzing.
my PC.
Sound like
Sounds like you have a cicada.
You didn't sound like that a couple nights ago on pubs. So
You
it's
sounded
not
like that
a
5
reason.
minutes ago.
Somebody told me in the pubs a little bit ago. I'm gonna restart my PC. I'll be
He's in the
back.
heat of the Maryland summer.
Here we go again. Now we're rolling for TSA versus 20 New York again. We're rolling for Conquest or not. Skirmish. Luckily this time, so no more fucking bitching and moaning.
I'll be
Right.
back.
Could it be Harper's Ferry? It's waited for it. They're in the city.
We're darn
Ease
Harper's Graveyard
indeed.
again. Oh no.
I hope not. No, it can't. Thank you. Oh, no, fuck.
Harper's Graveyard.
Nice shot.
Map is 5.
High Street.
High Street.
God,
Yeah.
two fucking
fuck.
Harper's Ferry maps
That's
again?
awful.
GG's.
That's fucking
Okay, so
terrible.
we got some time for a second. So listen, we don't like Harper's Ferry. You want us to lower it even more?
Make it 3 instead of 4.
It's crazy. We've
stupid
lowered it
bias.
enough to where technically it should be to where we don't get it as much, but we are getting it a shocking amount of time.
It's because we
are at
naturally fight
40
in cities.
Yeah, with the city maps, we are currently at 47% Harper's Ferry this season.
I think if we switch it down to 3, it would be fine. Historically, when fighting over cities, it was sally out in the fields. There was not that much city fighting.
Look at my suggestion. Scroll up a little bit and read my suggestion on it.
Yeah. In a city, I'd say 1, 2, and 3 Harper's Ferry, 4, 5 Antietam, and 6 South Mountain.
That would be better than it is now.
That would, yeah.
I mean,
what was it? Say that again.
1, 2, 3 Harper's Ferry, 4, 5 Antietam, 6 South Mountain.
I completely agree.
While attacking a city.
Thanks, because it rhymes as well.
I personally am okay with it just because I'd be a hypocrite about contention then if I didn't.
So
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
1 to 3.
Are we implementing that tonight or implementing that next
We
week?
can implement it right now, but that's still gonna about half the time you take a city, it's still gonna be Harper's Ferry.
Do we need to re-roll the other one then?
No, I think
No.
that one seems fine. To be honest.
Do we want
There's
to? Do
Harper's
we
Ferry
just
one.
want to apply that 15 to Antietam then? It'd be Otto and Sherrick.
I'll tell you what. We'll roll it right now, and 1 to 3 will be Harper's Ferry again. 4 will be 4 to 5 will be Antietam. 6 will be South Mountain.
This is both maps now.
This is for the second map. The
The
first
second
map, I
map.
think
The first
should
one's
be
done.
fine.
We got it.
Okay.
Yeah. You want a problem with that?
No,
Come once.
good.
Nope. Okay, here we go. Pew.
Once we get a once.
Oh my
Hey,
god!
Antietam.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Oh my god!
18 maps.
Once we fight 40 maps, we should do a distribution
16.
curve.
16.
Roulette lane.
Dang. Hey.
I mean, that's
Okay.
all right, I suppose.
Normal sides or swapped?
What?
This
We
is
got
normal
Artie,
sides.
bro.
Okay.
But we played it
Say the
Wednesday.
technical win.
Yes. Yeah,
So?
we
Doesn't
won.
matter.
It was
The fuck do I
awesome.
care about
We did
Wednesday
win.
for? I wasn't here Wednesday.
You
Last
should
week,
have
did we
been.
play it last Friday or
It
last
is
Saturday?
pretty-
Sorry.
It was pretty good, Hood.
Wait, are we defending on that, or is Union attacking on it?
Union's
Union
defending on
defends.
that.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Need to balance numbers.
Got a good
CQB
win out
83rd
of
don't
the
have
way.
numbers in.
CQB's not
And-
fucking
and
here. 83rd, what you got?
Then 12th Virginia dropped out.
Yeah, that's fine. We got 18th to cover them. Sure. 18th US number still anchored 1525.
Need a max New York. Need a New York max.
Let me
79.
double check
Well,
that.
go
Yeah,
to
my
Miller.
numbers are accurate. It should be 5 to 10, right?
Oh, you just don't have the 10 typed
79.
in. You just don't have the 10 typed
You're
in.
there you
Oh
go.
shit.
So
We're
what
looking
are
at-
we? 80,
We're looking at
18th?
18th is looking at 4.